What does 215 appear in the table of 3? Does 305 appear in the table of 2? Do you want to know how do I find out easily? Or do you have to sit and divide the numbers? Do you have to divide 315 by 3 to find out? Do you want to know an easier way to find out if the number appears in the table of 3? Well, that's exactly what we are going to be learning out today. Hello everybody, this is Avni Goyal and today I'm going to be teaching you about a concept called test of divisibility. So let's get started. So to begin with, you got to know what test of divisibility helps you with, didn't you? Test of divisibility helps you to find out if a huge number appears in the table of a single digit number. Usually to find so you will have to go through a huge process by dividing it, but today I'm coming up with a easier way to find out. And the numbers that we are going to be learning about today are the following. They are the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 9 and 10. If you're asking why there aren't 7 and 8 here, FYI, I don't know any rules about 7 or 8 test of divisibility, and I don't think any exist as well. Well, if you know any, you're free to let me know in the comments down below. Okay? So to begin with, let's go with the first number that we saw, that is 2. Now most of you may know the rule for 2, but just for those of you who don't know, now we all know what are even numbers, right? Even numbers are the numbers that appear in the table of 2. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. This line never stops. These numbers are known as even numbers, right? Now, here we need to know the test of divisibility rule for 2, right? So the rule for 2 is if whatever the number is, even if it's a 5, 6, 7, even if it's a 10-digit number, the ones place, right? The ones place number, whatever that may be any number, right? So whatever that is, ones place should be even, it should be an even number, or it should be 0. Okay? So the test of divisibility for 2 says the ones place should be even or 0. So for an example, let's take a 4-digit number, right? Let's say 4, 5, 3, 8, right? So you can't go around dividing such a huge number because it's going to take a lot of time. A shorter process for this is just look at the ones place. So let's name them ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. Am I right? Yes. So this is the ones place digit. So the ones place digit, what does the rule say? It should be even or 0. So is 8 an even number? Does 8 appear in the table of 2? Yes, because 2 4s are 8. Right? So this number is divisible by 2. Okay? Now let's take another example. Let's say 3290. Yes, 3290. So the rule says if the ones place, so this is the ones place, right? So the ones place should be even or 0. So here the ones place is 0. So it is divisible by 0. I mean by 2, I'm sorry. So this is the rule for 2. Okay, now the next number that we saw was the number 3, right? So for 3, the rule is very simple. The rule for 3 says the sum of all the digits should be divisible by 3. Okay? The sum of all the digits should be divisible by 3. So, if you didn't understand this, what should we do to find out if a number is divisible by 3 is, for example, let's take the number 126. Okay, so it says the sum of all the digits. So we, in our lower classes, we have learned what a sum is, right? A sum means after addition, the answer what we get is known as the sum. So we need to add up all the digits. So the digits here are 1, 2 and 6. So we need to add them all up. 1 plus 2 plus 6. Okay, that is equal to, add them, 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 plus 6 is 9. So 9. And now all you need to do is this sum, right? The sum you should just, you need to know the divisibility. You should be very, very thorough with your tables. At least the tables till 100. Okay? Not till 100, like 3 into 100. Until that much you should be knowing. Okay? So, does 9 appear in the 3? In the tables of 3? Yes, because 3 into 3 is 9, right? So, 126 is divisible by 3. Okay? So, let's take another quick example. Okay, let's take a huge number. Let's say the number 923. Yes, 923 should do. So the rule says add the digits. 9 plus 2 plus 3. Right? 9 plus 2 plus 3. And what does that give you? That gives you the number 14. Right? So 14. So 9 plus 2 is 11 and 11 plus 3 is 14. So does 14 appear in the table of 3? No. Thus, this is not. But this same thing, if imagine this was 924, right? Then the sum must have changed to 15, right? So then, if it was 924, it would have been a yes. Okay? So this is the test of divisibility rules for 2 and 3. Then moving forward is the rules for 4 and 5. So what does the rule of 4 say? Let's see. Okay. It says that if the tens and ones placed together, so for example, it is 295. If the last two digits, okay, let's take a smaller number, not 295. Let's take 224. Yeah, 224. Now the rule for this for the number 4 says the tens and ones, the last two numbers, right? The last two numbers. Here we have the number 24, right? So we won't read this as 2 and 4 separately. We'll read this together as 24. Okay? Now, does 24 appear in the table of 4? Yes. The number 24 appears in the table of 4. So, this is divisible by 4. Okay? Now here, you will have a bit of confusion. Many of you might have this doubt. What if the number has the last two digits are 0? Let's take the number 4300. Yes, so the number is growing, but the rule remains the same. The last two digits, if they are 0, it is divisible by 3. I mean by 4, I'm sorry. So if the last two digits are 0, it is divisible by 3. Okay? So let's repeat the rule for 4. The rule for 4 says that if the last two numbers if the last two digits are both 0 or divisible by 4, are divisible by 4. Okay? Now for 5, what does the rule say? The rule for 5 says that the ones place should either be 0 or 5. So the number, let's take a 4-digit number, let's say 2495. Yes? Now this is a huge number, right? Now if you want to know if this number appears in the table of 5 or if it is divisible by 5, just look at the last digit. If it is 5 or it is 0, okay? If it is 5 or 0, it is divisible by 5, okay? If it is another number, let's take for an example, let's take 2493. Right? The last digit is neither 5 nor 0. So it isn't. Okay? So this is the rule for 5. Let's repeat. The rule for 5 says if the last digit is 5 or 0, the whole number is divisible by 5. Okay? Then the next number we are going to be learning about, the test, is the number 6. Okay? So 6. What is the rule for 6? So the rule for 6 says that if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, right? If the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, the number is divisible by 6. So remember, do you remember the rules for 2 and 3? The rule for 2 is if the ones place digit is 0 or an even number. The rule for 3 is if the sum, that means if you add up all the digits and that the sum is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. So for 6, the rule says the number should be divisible by 2 also and by 3 also. Only if you have tick mark on both these places, it is correct. So let's take an example of the number. Let's take a 4-digit number this time. Let's take 4, 3, 6, and 5, 6, 8. Okay, or not 8. Let's take it as let's take the number 2. Yes, let's take the number 2. So the number we have here is 4362. Okay, so here first let's apply the rule for divisibility by 2. For divisibility by 2, the rule says that the number should be divisible by 2 and 3. So for 2, the rule was if the last digit is even or 0. So the last number is 2, that is even. Okay, so the check for 2 is done. Okay, the next check we need to do is for the number 3. So for the number 3, do you remember the rule? The rule says add up all the digits. Okay, let's add up all the digits. 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2, which is equal to 15. Okay, now 15 appears in the table of 3, doesn't it? 15 does appear in the table of 3, thus this number is divisible by 3 as well. Now we've got ticks on both the places, so this whole number is divisible by 6. Okay, so let me repeat the rule for the number 6. The rule for the number 6 says the number should be divisible by both 2 and 3. Only then the whole number will be divisible by 6. Okay. Now the next number we are going to learn about is the number 9. Okay. So the rule for the number 9 says it is the same as the number 3 only if the sum of all the digits are divisible by 9. So let's see. Let's take a huge number, okay? For example, let's take the number 5, 3, then 6, 4. So 5364 is our number. 5364. Now let's see if this number is divisible by 9. So for the rule says add up all the digits. So add them. 5 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4, that is equal to, quickly tell me, that is equal to 18, right? So the answer here is 18. Now does 18 appear in the table of 9? Yes, it appears in the table of 9 as 9 into 2 is nothing but 18. Okay? So this number is divisible by 9. Okay? So 9 is checked. So this is the rule for 9. Okay? Is it clear till here? I hope it is. If it isn't, you can ask me your whole doubts or any suggestions or anything you want to share with me in the comments down below. You're free to do so. And the last number for the day is the number 10. Okay, that's the only number we have left in today's session. So the rule for 10 is very simple. The ones place, okay, the ones place should be 0. That's all the rule says. So just look at the ones place. If it's a 0, the number is divisible by 10. If it isn't a 0, it isn't divisible by 10. Okay, let's take a huge number. Let's take 559,340. Look at the ones place. This is the ones place, isn't it? So the ones place is a 0. So this number is divisible by 10, right? So this is the rules of the test of divisibility of 10. So with this, we've come to the end, and before going, I would like to repeat the rules for you again in case you forgot. For 2, it is if the ones place is even or 0, okay? The next number is 3. For 3, it is if the sum, add up all the digits, if that sum is divisible by 3, if that sum appears in the table of 3, the whole number is divisible by 3. Next is the number 4. The rule for the number 4 is simple. Look at the tens and ones place. Don't read them separately. Read them as one whole number. If that number comes in the tables of 4, the whole number is divisible by 4. Okay? Even if it's a 0, both numbers are 0, it is divisible by 4. For the number 5, next is the ones place. Look at the ones place. If the ones place is 5 or 0, the whole number is divisible by 5. Now the next number was 6. For 6, the rule is also very simple. The number should be do the test of divisibility of the numbers 2 and 3. If both of them come as yes, then that whole number is divisible by 6. Okay. Then the next number we learnt about was 9. For 9, it's the same rule as 3. Add up all the digits. If the digits appear in the table of 9, the whole number is divisible by 9. For 10 also the rule is very, very simple. That's the easiest rule. Look at the ones place. If it's a 0, the whole number is divisible by 10. If it isn't a 0, the number isn't divisible by 10. Okay. So with that, we've come to the end of today's video. Hope you guys understood and liked it. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any doubts, suggestions or queries. Be free to share any thoughts you have. That's all for today. I'll be back with another interesting topic. Until then, goodbye.